Welcome to the Dream Show. I'm Jane Teresa Anderson, and this is episode 281. And our guest today with a dream for us to explore and relate to her life is Cansu, and Cansu is from Turkey. I've just actually finished recording that section. Here I am putting the beginning of the show on afterwards. So I can tell you it is a beautiful dream, lovely and reflective, and we find some beautiful places and spaces in it that help Cansu to understand more about her life and her next steps. One thing that I would like to say, and some of you know, we've been doing this dream show for 15 years now. And when we started, we used to do it audio only, recording audio only. And recently, I've been recording on Zoom, so I've been able to look at the person that I'm speaking to, which is really nice. It's the same way that I do my consultations by Zoom. Some people in consultations get shy and just want to do it by phone, and that's fine too. But usually it's by Zoom. So although our podcast is audio only, and that's the way it will always stay, because these are confidential conversations that I have with our guests, and they come by first name only. If you're a guest on the show, you're first name only. So it's all highly confidential. So our show will always be audio only, but it is still so lovely for me to connect and see the person I'm talking to. And sometimes I might describe little things that are happening. And there was one little thing, listen out for it, when I'm talking with Cansu, and something happens around her, which is a real heartwarming synchronicity with what we were talking about. So I'm just putting that out there for you to listen to. Before we go there, if you'd like to be a guest on the Dream Show, go to my website at janeteresa.com. That's Teresa without an H. Look at the menu. You'll see the podcast, the Dream Show. Look at the drop-down box. You'll see how to be a guest on the Dream Show. It's something you volunteer to do, and it's a wonderful thing to do because it helps everybody listening to understand more about how to approach dreams. And it also, each guest brings their own story. We have a little insight into each guest's life, and that is always heartwarming and helpful for all of us, I think. And we also, of course, learn lots of dream interpretation tips by listening. So if you'd like to be a guest on the Dream Show, that's the thing to do. And if you would like to consult me privately, also go to janeteresa.com. You'll find details there. If you'd like to do my courses, my online courses, 2 of which you can do in your own time, at your own pace, and you'll find those at the Dream Academy, and the address for those is dream-academy-online.com. And I think that's enough introduction. Let's go straight to Cansu and her dream. Welcome to the Dream Show, Cansu. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you so much to accept me in your presence.
It's an absolute pleasure. And as everyone knows, this is an audio only, but I am actually looking at you on Zoom as we speak. And it's always lovely to make that connection. Tell us a little bit about where you're from.
I am from Turkey, and I am 38, a woman, single woman, and I am a designer, jewelry designer. Yeah, like this.
That's lovely. That's a nice bit of background before your dream. Do you live near the sea?
No.
No.
It's very in the middle of the mountains.
Ah, right. Oh, even more beautiful.
Yes, I love the mountains. Yeah.
Me too. Okay, would you like to describe your dream?
Yes, I would love to share it. I found myself in my dream all of a sudden in the middle of a building. It was like a kind of, it gives me like the feeling it's a kind of educational place, but I didn't get the idea where I am. I just found myself there, but I was working on something like some paperwork. I need to make some paperwork, and then all of a sudden I found myself in that place, and I didn't understand why I am here. And then after a while, I realized that there are some artworks on the wall, and which I am very curious about. In my normal life, also I am into art, and then I found myself in a building full of which has full of arts around. So I started to check the walls, because there are some art pieces on the walls. There are some information about the art pieces, and I was reading them, and I was checking what's going on here. Where I found myself. What is that place? And telling what the art pieces are telling me. I was so curious. And then one man, this handsome and mature man, came next to me and just um, directly started to tell me about the uh, background of these art pieces, what they are telling about, or what is the background of these art pieces. And we just started like a very friendly conversation. And uh, yeah, I surprised how easily we started to talk without any entrance, or it was very natural starting to talk, because I feel like he felt my curiosity. He saw it, and he just wanted to give me a kind of a gift which he knows. And then he continued to tell me about the background of these art pieces, and then we started to go around room by room, and checking all the art pieces in the building. And then I realized that it's kind of institution, like arts institution. And I found myself there, and this man came to me and just informing me about the things around which I am curious. And then I really impressed and the man was like short hair, short and curl hair, and white and black. It gives me very very, yeah, I feel like his approach to me was like so kind and gentle, and which I really missed it. It was the feeling like which I missed a lot for long. And then we went to different rooms, and every time we were checking another kind of art pieces, and he was very detailedly was explaining me about that art pieces. And then in one room we were together face to face, and he was telling me uh, some kind of stories about that art pieces. And then some other guys came into the room, and at that moment he made a sign with his eyes, let's go, he said, kind of, but in silently. Uh, and then we went out. Yeah, it was a kind of sign we had to go, because the students came into the room, and they need space and silence, so we need to go, kind of sign. And then we went out again, and we continued to the other room. And I realized that at some point I saw some records on the screen on the wall. And then I realized that that man are making some kind of speech to the other students. I realized at that moment this man is a really important man for this institution. And then I feel like I impressed a lot from that man. And then I found myself, all of a sudden in my dream, I found myself out of this building. But it was so good, we were rolling and I was feeling like getting high on him. And then all of a sudden I found myself out of this building, in front of this building. And then I was like, what happened? Why I am here? Yani, it was so nice. Yani, after so long, I found that kind of man, and without any uh, feedback, he catched me. He catched my curiosity, and he just gave a gift to me very gently. And I feel like, what am I gonna do now? I didn't know his name, and I don't know his contact. We didn't exchange it. And what should I do? Should I go back, or what am I gonna do? And at that moment, I woke up, and I woke up with a conclusion. With a uh, it was like a conclusion that I was looking for so long in my life. Yani I I was uh, seeking for that answer. Like, I felt like, yes, I want a mature man in my life. Yani it it was a very clear message. I woke up first time in my life. Yeah, normally, okay, I had some dreams, but I don't get that much clear conclusion. That's why I really wonder, and I was mentioning my friend, and she recommended you to me to tell about this.
I'm so glad that she did. That's such a lovely dream, Jansu. Really love it. I love the amount of time that you spent in the building as well. So much to see, and another room and another room and another room of
Yes,
art. And all the time he was gently giving you the gift of the information. It wasn't just a little bit and then he walked away. He was constantly there,
yes,
talking to you, which was absolutely wonderful. Yeah. And then all of a sudden you're out of the building.
yes, yes.
What was it like outside the building? What kind of
Out,
environment?
it was like yani, from outside, it was looking like a boring building, like. But in front there was some cars, and I was next to that cars. Yani, like uh, I was like trying to find my car, and then I was like, no, why I am going, yani, why I am here? I don't want to go actually. Yeah,
Right,
yeah,
I love that. So there was a sense of, there was all this beauty and curiosity and gentleness and gifts inside the building,
yeah,
but
yes,
outside was boring.
yes,
And you
yes,
didn't want to
boring.
be there. Yeah. So straight
Yes,
away,
yes,
straight away, there's a contrast maybe in the dream between your inner world, which is perhaps
yes,
like the building where everything is beautiful and
yes,
gentle and so much to explore, and outside the building, your outer world life, where maybe, I don't know, I don't think your life would be boring at all, but in comparison to what's inside you, your outside is, yes, this doesn't interest me as much. I don't have the same curiosity in my life here awake as I did inside that dream or inside myself. Would you say
yes.
that, do you have a really strong curiosity about your inner world?
Yes, I am. I am going to so deep in there, and especially in my late life, I'm just spending my time in my inner world, working in there and digging and digging. Yes, that's true. Yeah, it's boring outside for me a little bit. Yeah,
Yeah, that's beautiful. And that's so beautifully captured in your dream. And we will go into your dream in detail. And there's always that thing, I guess, that is the outside world really boring, or how do we bring some of the really interesting, curious, gentle, artistic stuff from your inner world into your outer world? How do we bring more of what is inside out to make the outside less boring, rather than having the inside as a secret world that you explore? For all of us who explore the inner world, it is huge. It is majestic compared to the outer world. There's still got to be a way to bring some of that into the outer world and share it. And your dream sort of shows those contrasts. Yeah. I really like the way that you woke up with a concrete conclusion as well.
Yeah.
You know, no matter what the dream was about, you also woke up thinking, you know what I really need in my life, in a partner, is a mature man.
Yes.
No problems. So that's beautiful. And we'll put that to one side, because that is a lovely conclusion and it was meaningful to you and it's a lovely thing to follow. But also, everyone in a dream and everything in a dream reflects something about ourselves. So we can also look at that beautiful man in the dream as being a beautiful part of yourself that you connected with strongly in the dream. And particularly because towards the end of the dream, you were suddenly face to face with him, eye to eye. And sometimes when we get really close to a person and we really look into their eyes and we face them in a dream, that's often coming face to face with a part of ourselves that we haven't really come face to face with before.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And wasn't he a lovely part of yourself to come face to face with?
Yes.
He's gentle. You come across to me as very gentle, but he was gentle. He valued your curiosity. He had a great depth of knowledge, and you felt that every word that he gave you was a gift of some kind in the dream.
Yes, totally. Right there.
So while in your life you are doing lots of deep exploration into your inner world, your dream is also suggesting that there's a part of yourself in your inner world that does have a deep knowledge, a much deeper knowledge of your inner world than you realize. You're aware of the part of yourself that goes in with great curiosity. Oh, look at all this wonderful world inside. Look at my inner world. It's so beautiful. I wonder what this means. I wonder what that means, looking at the paintings. I'm so curious. I want to know. I don't know the answers. And yet there's a part of yourself represented by this man that does know the answers, that can give you some background. Now, you particularly said background, so were you meaning that he gave you the background information about the artist or the artwork, or that he was literally talking about the background painting in the dream?
The artist and what is, for example, materials which artists use, everything about which I wanted to know. He already was known and giving me all details, not like the paintings background.
Yes.
The artworks background.
Yeah, that's absolutely beautiful. So there's a part of yourself that has a very deep knowledge about the background of everything in life. And about the symbolism, because the pictures and the artwork were in many ways with symbolism. There's a part of yourself that is much more aware than you realize. So what a joy to meet that part of yourself in the dream. That was really good. So we start at the beginning of the dream, and the beginning of the dream often describes what the rest of the dream is going to go on and explore. The beginning of the dream is like, this is the situation. And I was taking notes while you were talking. And he said the beginning of the dream, it was like you had to do some paperwork. And then, and then all of a sudden you found yourself in this building.
Yeah.
Any idea how you felt about doing the paperwork, or what the paperwork was connected to?
Yeah, it's like a kind of boring something for me in my life. If there is paperwork, it means it's not for me, actually. I'm doing like with pushing myself in a way, I know.
Forcing yourself to do it, yes. Okay. So the beginning of the dream is, sometimes my life is really boring and I have to push myself. And that's the situation that the whole rest of the dream is addressing. which is interesting why at the end of the dream you come out and you say, it's a bit boring outside this building. Yeah. So the beginning of the dream is, sometimes I find life boring. I nevertheless am very strong and I push myself to do the things that I need to do. But how can I move forward from here? And I guess the first thing your dream says is something that you're used to, which is, well, it's when life gets boring that I delve into my inner world because it's much more magical and exciting in there. So we know that about you already. But the dream seems to suggest that there is even more magic and beauty and information in that inner world than you have previously realized. Mm-hmm. And it's there for you to explore. I thought it was interesting that when you were discussing the paintings and the artwork, you said there was information alongside each artwork. And of course there always is in an art gallery, there's information. But when you said that, I thought, you've gone from paperwork at the beginning to actually wanting to read the words, which is kind of like paperwork as well, beside each art piece. So you were still looking at the paperwork. And the man that you met was giving you information. So information is a kind of head thing.
Yes.
Information. You also said that the building felt educational, which is kind of traditionally a head thing. So there's quite a lot of emphasis on the head, on information, education, reading the signs.
Yes.
You were also looking at the pictures, but also wanted to read the signs. You wanted the information. So yes. What I love about this dream is it kind of almost pointed out that you are probably deeply analytical. You probably love information. You probably love reading. You love educating yourself. But the magic of this dream was seeing so much artwork on every wall, which was kind of more of a heart thing. The art is more of the heart. And noticing with this man, yes, he had the intelligence and the information, the head stuff, but he was gentle. There was a heart thing there as well. So to me, one of the wonderful things about this dream is that it began with kind of all the head focus, and what really became exciting and almost sensual to you was entering into the heart, the feeling of it all.
That could be true. I can't realize what is me and what is the other out. I can't realize this, but I am normally into my heart so much, and I am generally impressing the man which is on their mind, because I don't have it, And in my dreams also it was like that totally, and I am in the phase of my life like kind of shifting, and I am more into information and reading books and that kind of, and I am planning to study maybe again about some kind of thing. I don't know yet, but I am that phase of my life, so I want to get more into I want to work on my mind and my actually. I don't know which one is me and which one is representing my other side, which I don't have yet.
Yeah.
But you can maybe.
Oh, that makes perfect sense. I love that. So again, you're in your inner world, and that explains why you're loving the art. The art is so magical and so wonderful, but you are wanting to read the information, and you're wanting the man to give you the background and to give you the education. So that does match what's going on in your life at the moment, that need for balancing the heart with the head rather than the other way around.
Yes.
Bringing in more of that, yeah. So because also there were students in the room at some point that needed to hear a lecture, so that was educational as well. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Did you have any memory of the actual artworks, what some of them were, what colours, what feelings, what subjects?
I just know there are some art pieces which I am very curious about, but I never saw any. I don't remember any piece. No.
Yeah, but they were almost 100 paintings, maybe art pieces.
100. Yani, I think that was not just paintings. It was like maybe sculpture, not
Sculptures, yeah.
sculpture, kind of, or I don't know, another kind of. I just know they were artists. I don't know anything else actually.
Right, so you don't remember the art pieces themselves. There was just a feeling that there was a variety of art pieces, sculptures, paintings, and it wasn't so much you had the heart feeling for those, but it was the information that you wanted. Yeah.
Yes.
And you got the information, but you didn't get the information delivered in a boring way, did you?
No, no. It was not a boring way.
That's right.
Uh,
You got it
no.
delivered in a way that was gentle, and that each piece of information felt like a gift.
Yes, yes. And very, it was like the information which I really wanted to know about, and very detailed kind of deep, uh, deep information actually, which everybody does not know, you know. I mean, you have to be so much into it, and then you can know that backgrounds of that type,
Yes. There's so
kind
much
of
so
info.
much information you need to be able to understand and amass before you can put it all together and explain at a deeper level.
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah.
So I'm just reading the notes that I took. You keep mentioning curious, which is really good. So I'm thinking like there's boring at the beginning and the end.
Outside.
Yeah, yeah, outside. And curious is almost the opposite to boring. Like boring is, oh, there's nothing to interest me there at all. I'm not curious. It's just boring. And so to be curious about something is like the opposite to boring. I
Yes.
really, really am attracted to want to know more about this. So sometimes in a dream will address a particular issue, and to find that issue, you're sometimes looking for two opposites. So it's almost like you've got boring on one opposite and curious and gentle on the other opposite. And when you've got a pair of opposites in a dream, you're often trying to find a middle path.
Hmm.
How can I have my life so that it's not 100% boring? And sometimes it's really good to be totally curious and into all the details, but to live a balanced life, I sometimes need to be in the middle somewhere. I don't want my life to be half boring, but I don't want to be so deeply involved in the curious details that I miss some of the things going on around me.
Hmm. Hmm.
So the dream could be showing that sometimes in your beautiful and very worthy adventure into learning more and more about yourself and about the world and about your inner world, maybe sometimes you go down too many rabbit holes and you just get stuck down there, and it's a wonderful, glorious place to be, but maybe you miss some other things going on around you. Yeah. What kind of things might you miss, or do you feel that you miss sometimes?
Sometimes I am really going so deep in me, and I am forgetting the outside, like relationships, and then it's especially in the winter times I'm like this. I'm just giving that time to myself and going deep and deep and spending my all time in my inside inner world. And then after the when summer came and the sun rise up, and then I feel like, oh, there is outside also. I can call my friends, I can go out, I can chill, you know. But I had a very big break, and I can't adapt myself with the conversations or socializing. It's very hard for me to shift this.
Yes. That
Yes,
makes
yeah.
perfect sense. And where are you now in your seasons? Where are you now? Are you in winter,
It's
summer?
shifting now. It's shifting. Otherwise, I will not call you.
So you now are coming out into the world and thinking, how do I relate to my friends, and how do
How
I,
can I express myself out again? And how
yeah.
can I share it again?
It's really lovely because I can see the sun coming through and shining on your face as
Yes,
you're talking with me. And it only just started to come out as you were saying this, because I think it's
yes,
quite early in the morning where you are too. So it was
yes, yes.
totally in synchronicity with what we're talking about. The sun is coming through, and it's how do I go outside the world. So our inner world is deeply valuable and should always be explored with great curiosity. We should go as deeply as we need to go. It is an amazing and marvelous and wonderful place to be, and it's always good to know this deeper part of ourselves and life in general. And your dream is also suggesting, like you said, that sometimes it's hard to come into the everyday world, which may otherwise appear boring. So the question for me, I guess, is how do you bring some of that beauty into your everyday life?
Mm.
Now, one thing just before you answer that, you did wake up with a really great practical conclusion, romantic conclusion, which is I need a mature man in my life. And that's good. That's a great decision, and you also may then be thinking something about your own maturity. I'm not talking about your age, but your wisdom. I need more of my wisdom, the things I've learned through life, my experiences, my in-depth understanding that maybe other people your age don't have the same understanding of their inner world that you've got. At the end of the dream, it's how can I have, that's what I want. The conclusion is I want more of this maturity in my world. I want to bring more of this wisdom in my world. Does anything spring to mind about how you can bring some of the findings and discoveries that you've made about your inner world into the outer world, or does that cause you anxiety?
Mhm. Yeah, no, actually, yes, I am in that point, which I am trying to find the way uh, to feel that curiosity about the sharing with the others also. I'm trying to find an expression. I am doing it with my artworks, actually. I'm trying. And when I started to express myself more with my words, or when I express my knowledge in a way, uh, by wordly, actually, by words, it's getting more reactions, and it's getting actually like uh, giving me motivation to make it more, and that's
I love that. I
that's
love that. So, working on your jewelry and your art is one thing, but putting words to that and expressing that is another.
yes,
It's almost like in the dream where you see the artwork, but you want to read the information about it, which is words again.
yes,
How do I put words into my art? My art people should understand through my art what I'm saying, but I find I need to use words as well.
yes,
And maybe as an artist, you're discovering that your words, whether that's speaking, whether it's lecturing, because there's a lecturer in the dream,
yes,
whether it's lecturing, whether it's writing, you're discovering this new other aspect of your life as an artist is using words, as you've just said.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
In the dream, the man is using words with you, and is using them gently,
yes.
and is using them like a gift.
Mm-hmm.
And you said you were surprised. I'm just looking back down at my notes. I think you were surprised how natural it felt. I can't find it now.
Yes, it was like the beginning of conversation. Yani in my dream, again, I remembered the beginning of our conversation sharing. and it was naturally happened. And yeah, I felt like he just saw me, and he just saw my needs, because I was very curious. I want more, you know. I wanted to know more, and he just catch it and gave it to me, like without any calculation, you know, without anything. Yani. Just came and gave it to me
So
very gently.
I can so picture that. I can so feel it. And what I'm getting from this is a sense of you obviously have already discovered many of your gifts. For example, you make jewelry and other things as well. And because he is giving you gifts in the dream, he is the gift giver.
Mhm.
He is the gentle gift giver. So he is also a part of yourself that has gifts to give.
Mm.
And you particularly note that his gifts are conversational. They are using words, and they
Mhm.
are using words gently to go
Mhm.
very deep.
Yes.
And they are also using the words, I was going to say something else, it's just disappeared. It felt very natural.
Mhm.
So there's a part of yourself that is saying, forget what you know, forget what you have felt or experienced in the past about using words. Forget what you may think that, it's difficult to lecture or to write or difficult to get people to listen to you or to present. Forget that. Forget all of that. There's a part of yourself in your own inner world that is natural. Has the natural gift of expressing with words.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. And that natural gift of expressing with words is also using those words very gently to go very deep.
Mhm.
And using that gift to follow through with whatever you are curious about. So your gift is saying, your gift is to be curious, and your gift is to follow that curiosity and find a way to gently put it in words and express it to yourself first, and then to the outer world in some way. So the world is no longer boring. The world is no longer paperwork that you have to push yourself to do, because now you have something that comes naturally. It's a voice that comes naturally. And I want to come back. I can see you. I know our listeners can't hear you, but I can see you responding very passionately and deeply to this. It's bringing tears to your eyes, which is a good thing, because we know when we're discussing a dream that we've really got it when it brings us that emotion. So it's a really wonderful sign that you're showing there. So I want to go back to the beginning of the dream and this feeling that you said to me, oh, paperwork, I have to do paperwork, but I do push myself to do it. So there's that sense there of you are probably very organized and ordered and can do whatever it takes to get things done. And you can do that very well, which is wonderful, because life requires a lot of that from us. But you are forgetting that there is this other way. There's this other way to find words that flow naturally. Are you ready to talk about this a little now?
Yeah, thank you so much for that comment. Yani it wake me up and gave me a very complete, how can I say, complete conclusion about this dream. Yani. Yeah, you read me so detailedly and gave me the piece which I need with that comment, I think. Thank you
That's
so much.
It's an absolute pleasure. What do you feel you might? How do you feel you might use this in the coming days and weeks and months?
Yes, actually, naturally, it started. Yani after that dream, uh, I was like trying to read this dream with my own way, and I was like trying to find dead man,
Of course.
but from my chair, yeah, again. But I was thinking there should be a man like this, that kind of readings I was doing. But now I realize now after your comment your approach, I realized that after that dream, I started to express myself with words more. I have a Instagram page to show up my works, jewelries, and normally I was putting my jewelries and I was just writing the materials and I was just giving the basic information, not pushing the people for I don't like that kind of expressions, like putting, yeah, you got me, I
I
think.
got you,
And
yes.
then I don't like that much to talk about, but after that dreams, I started to tell the story, how I feel about the things which I put on, and then it got a big reaction, and then I I started to take so much orders after that dream. That's so interesting. Yeah, I mean, 3 times more orders started to came, and it motivated me because I was losing my motivation for long because it was not taking so much reaction. It was taking, but like in the middle
Yeah.
level. So
That is
yeah.
absolutely, that's so beautiful. And I love that because your dream had a kind of positive ending, even though it was like, oh, what am I doing outside? I would like to have stayed in the building. You came outside and you woke up with a conclusion. So it wasn't a dream with an unresolved ending. It wasn't a dream with I'm stuck. It was a dream that had some sense of moving forward. And so I'm not surprised that even without understanding the dream, you naturally saw changes in your life because the dream was reflecting the changes that were happening within you and coming out already. And now, and that's absolutely wonderful seeing, 3 times the connection, 3 times the sales, 3 times the number of people that can go around wearing your beautiful jewelry now and enjoying that. And you speaking authentically from your heart and your feelings and making the connection about why you make the jewelry and what the gift behind the jewelry is and what you want to say. And so that you did that naturally, just as the natural gift was in the dream, but also now understanding the dream more deeply, you can amplify that up, you can make it bigger, you can go, yes, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So as well as using the words beautifully on your Instagram account, there may be other ways you can do that, or not only on Instagram, but in other areas of your art. I don't know what they are, but bringing this part of yourself and this gift more and more and more into the world. Because you could also look and say, well, this has been a good dream for business because it's got you 3 times the jewelry sales, and that's very valuable. That's really wonderful. Your dream has done some problem solving, perhaps there was some creativity solving. But our dream is also always about every aspect of our life. So it's not just about our business, it's about our relationships, it's about creativity, it's about how we perceive the world, it's about everything. So you can take this one thing, this using of words and expressing and connecting into every area of your life, which brings you back to the point you made about when summer comes and you come out of your inner world and you have to think, how do I relate to my friends again? How do I do this? You can bring this from your dream too. Don't think it's hard. It's not like paperwork. There isn't a formula that you have to follow. You just gently use words to express how you feel. And maybe some of the people that you socialize with aren't interested in those words. So it may be a time to find other people who are interested in those words, because as I'm sure you well know, whenever you shift and change, sometimes you need to be with different people or in a different situation because you've outgrown where you were before, or those people are going in a different direction to where you're going, and it's time to find those new people or that new situation and use your words and your gifts with them.
Yeah. Yes. Sometimes we are losing some of them and finding some others.
Yes, yeah. So
Yeah.
what a beautiful dream to share. Are there any other questions that you wanted to ask about it, or anything else you wanted to say?
Um, No, actually, I got my all.
You got what you wanted from it. That's so
I,
lovely.
yeah, thank
Um,
you so much.
it's an absolute pleasure. One little thing you could do is, because the dream is so vivid in your memory, so vivid, particularly inside the building, is any time you think, oh, I'm losing a little bit of connection with my gift, I'm losing a bit of connection with my words, you can just close your eyes and imagine yourself back in that building and with
Mhm.
the gentle gift guy with you, and bring him closer to closer, maybe even feel his hands on your shoulders and say, this is a part of me, I'm embodying this part of myself, I'm enjoying this place, and putting yourself back in the energy of that words flowing, and then you'll find that that also flows more in your life.
Mhm. Okay, I'm gonna do this. And I had a question now. I have a question. There is that man because it was really so clear. Yani. I know, like now after that dream, I know that man. If I see this man, I am gonna recognize directly, and I know every details of a human now, and I
Yes.
wonder if there is that
Okay.
really.
So it's possible. If you see him, I would. It's definitely worth having a conversation.
Yes, I will do that.
Yeah. But also, and it may be that it's someone that you have already seen around and not registered in your mind, someone that you've already know. But I do caution you as well, because when we meet a part of ourselves in the dream that is so beautiful and so loving and is the opposite sex, we can easily think, I've got to look for this man. And all the other beautiful, mature men that arrive in your life, and you go, no, no, not you, because you don't look like the one in the dream. No, not you, you don't look like, no, no, no. And you're missing perhaps all these wonderful opportunities for the right man, because maybe he doesn't exist with the face that you've seen. That face was what you put on a part of yourself in the dream.
Mhm.
And the other thing I would say is that often, answering your question, often but not always, that the men in our dreams who we don't recognize, who we don't know in waking life, often represent our inner male. So you've got your inner female, which is also your yin, and also your right brain and your creativity and your spirituality and your emotion. And the man is more your yang and your left brain and the intellect and the analytical and the knowledge and maybe the words. So it's kind of meeting this balance, getting more into balance, the yin and the yang, and meeting this part of yourself. So
Yeah,
what
this
I'm
part.
saying to you is, if you see him, speak to him, but don't push aside all the other beautiful suitors.
Okay.
Yeah. And also bearing in mind, Jansu, that you are now going to be emerging in the world in a slightly different way, because you are going to be using more words, expressing yourself, living and moving in a different way. And so sometimes it can be not a great idea to start a new relationship when you are in the middle of changing. Wait until that change has gone through, and then you're in the
Yeah,
better position to meet somebody who's there on the path for you.
that's clear. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
clear. I got this too. But this shifting is happening for long, yani. Shifting, shifting, shifting. I don't know how it's gonna end up.
Well, it would be a sad world if we didn't stop changing. You know,
Yeah,
some people do stop changing, and it's not always a good thing.
yes,
It's good to always be curious like you are. It's good to always invite change and to think that life is a constant kind of change. But I think in this particular case where you are making a change in how you are in the world, that
mm,
to and where you might be changing the groups you're with or how you express yourself as an artist, to kind of feel more solid in that, I guess is
mm,
what I'm saying, rather than feeling this is new, get to the point where I am solid with this now, this is really good, this is where I am, I feel good with this. There will be future changes, but this is where there is more of me shining here. This is
yes,
good, that stage, yeah.
yes, yes, yes. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Cansu, for being a wonderful guest. Thank you.
I am very nice to meet you, and I got so many inspirations and so many lessons from that conversation. Thank you
That's
so
really
much.
lovely. Thank you. And there we go, another lovely guest, another lovely dream, and another set of lovely insights to take into our lives and our hearts. So, and also so lovely to talk to guests from all over the world, wherever you are in the world. If you'd like to be a guest on the Dream Show, remember, go to janeteresa.com, go to the menu, and it's easy to find from there. A reminder of my websites, janeteresa.com, and also dream-academy-online.com. Thank you for listening. Oh, I should also say there's an Instagram account, so there's that as well, which you would find very easily. And thank you for listening to yet another episode of The Dream Show. And I'll speak to you next month. Have a beautiful month. I'm Jane Teresa Anderson.